Setting smart objectives. Many people have heard of the term smart objectives, but very often they don't know what the term means, nor actually how to apply smart objectives to performance management and getting the best out of the people in their job. So here's a brief explanation of SMART. The S of SMART stands for specific. In other words, we're talking about an objective or a performance measure that relates very much to the person's job, the key responsibilities and the key accountabilities of the job. In other words, it is entirely job-related. M stands for measurable. By this we mean the objective that you set for the individual must be capable of being measured. That might be in a quantifiable way, with numbers, figures, percentages, numerics of some sort or another, which are easy to define and hopefully put in place. Or it may be that the objective has to be written as an observed behavior, in which case you have to think of someone that does this part of the job really well and describe to the job holder you're talking to what you would like to see and hear them do on a day-to-day basis that would evidence success to you. Finally, you might have to go to third-party feedback or the perceptions of others to measure a person's performance in their job. You're not present the whole time to see them display their behaviors. It may be that the results that they're achieving are being achieved, but with the person upsetting people in the process, and therefore we want to be able to describe the feedback, the perceptions, the truths and opinions of others that would lead us to believe that this person is doing a good job. So, 3 ways to make an objective measurable: through a quantifiable statement, through an observed behavior, or a description of third-party feedback. The A stands for achievable. In other words, what we want in this objective is for there to be stretch. It needs to require effort, but it must be achievable. It mustn't be set at such a height that the person continuously fails and is therefore demotivated and disenchanted, nor must the objective be set at a level at which it's easily achieved or even surpassed. And so you have to think about achievable objectives being those where you take into account the age, the experience, the training, the motivation of the individual, and whether they are equipped to actually achieve the objective. But there are also external factors, other factors beyond the individual, the resources that they're working with, and how much equipment they have to hand to achieve the result. And those are pieces that need to be given to the person to be able to have them achieve the objective that you set for them. The R of SMART stands for relevant. In other words, the objective needs to be relevant in the light of the ongoing job, the day-to-day job of the person, where they need clear objectives. It needs to be a relevant objective in the light of perhaps an additional project that you're giving to the person, or an objective in the area of continuous improvement, ongoing improvement of process in their job. Or it might be the objective needs to relate to some soft skill area, such as team working or building relationships with other people. Finally, that objective might also be to do with their personal development and growth. In other words, setting an objective for them to continue their learning and development and measure their success in various uses of learning resources. And finally, the T is time-bound. In other words, what we're saying is an objective is much more meaningful when it needs to be achieved within a given period of time: a week, a month, a quarter, half year, a year, are typical time frames. And we need to make sure that the person, therefore, is ready to have a review at the end of the time frame concerned to find out whether they are achieving that objective or whether they're having problems or difficulties. And if they are, you can then help them to overcome those problems and difficulties. So, SMART objectives are there to help the individual be absolutely clear on the expectation of their manager. They're there to help the manager communicate clearly what's in his or her head about the performance requirements of the person, and as a result, the two can have a quality dialogue and work together in partnership to achieve these concrete, tangible, known objectives.